What's going on, guys? I'm back at you again, and I'm just getting back to this Bears Commanders game. For some reason, they cut this part of the video out of my breakdown. So let's talk about these last three plays, which were the most pivotal of the game. Now, all of my defensive linemen, pay attention to this defensive end right here. Just notice how he just, for no reason at all, just shoots into like the A gap and just stays there. Doesn't contain the outside, doesn't keep my man Justin Fields from running away, knowing he's a dual threat quarterback. But also, this is how the NFL rigs games, though. They tell certain guys to not play their position properly. Like they'll tell a defensive end crash inside and stay there to allow this guy to run around and just eventually run out this way. That was part of the plan. It was scripted to go this way. It was just they don't want it to be as obvious. So they tell guys to crash in and tell him to run around and tell the other guys to not really try and then take off. Let's watch this. Look at this guy. You would never do this as a defensive end. Especially without, because the thing is, if you're going to do this, you would have this guy twisting around. Right now, there's no outside contain. You would never do that in a million years. Let's watch it again. You would never just do this. He basically just took himself out of the play. And now this guy runs himself out of the play. So now see, this whole left side is open. So we talked about that part. So the D-line did this on purpose. They all shifted basically to the left over here. You'll see them all end up here to give him the space to run. So now let's look at the receivers. Let's look at the receivers. Let's look at what the receivers do. So now we know the D-line screws up. So let's pause it right here. So we have 1st and 10, a minute left, no timeouts. You got to make a completion here, guys. And instead, he does all this because this was scripted to be like this. He could have thrown right there and run out of bounds. But instead, he's doing all this because it's all a facade. Now look over here. There's a receiver here. Looks at him. Look, he looks at him. And the receiver runs away. Turns his head, runs away. It's like, dude, why wouldn't you try to help your quarterback? Now no one's even looking at him. So this is where he's going to take off. Look at this angle right there. What are we doing? What are we doing here? What are we doing? What is that? He takes a terrible angle and just sits down in a chair. Why would you even run over that? He runs to the 46-yard line and then turns around, lets him run by him, and then falls on his face. And then look at this guy. Look at the effort on that guy. Look at this guy right here. He's pretending that he's on a block, guys. He's not even being blocked. What is this? Can someone explain to me what he's doing? Right now, he's blocked. Actually, he's not even being blocked the whole time. Look at this, guys. Look at this. He just hides behind the guy. Look at him. Hiding behind him, still not coming up, and still just jogging. Look at him. And then look at this guy. But the NFL is real, though, right? This is what you guys keep saying. The NFL is real somehow. Now, this is, I think, the last play of the game, right? Now let's look at this. Look at my D end up there, not even rushing. Look at this guy playing patty cake. They're not trying to get there at all. They're just giving him the time to make it look like they're rushing so he can throw the ball in. Now let's look at the receivers. If he really looks to the left, he really has this guy in the back of the end zone. Yeah, this guy's wide effing open. Literally wide open, but he doesn't throw it there and then floats it. We know what happens here. Throws it up. And then I think Pettis might have even gotten hurt on that. This was supposed to be caught, but he got bent back up. The DB trips him, and then they get their legs tangled, and he gets twisted up. That's the only reason he couldn't hold on to it. Now this is the last play of the game. If they ever run it. Alright, the DM, they just not really rushing. You can tell they're not really rushing. They're just trying to make it look like they are. Inside move, got him. Had him on the inside move, but not that much. You got him to flip his hips. Hips are flipped. DB never turns his head and attacks the player, and the player just doesn't hold on to it. That's all that was, guys. Because look at this. Look at the move he puts on. Actually, you didn't see it. Look at this. Flips his hips. Now he got his hips flipped. That's what you want as a receiver. He flipped his hips. And now the DB is chasing. The ball was kind of thrown too high, probably on purpose. Like, why would you throw that so high and in that type of fashion? If anything, it should have been a zip. It should have been a zip ball, right straight line, right to him. Instead, he doesn't throw a fastball. He throws a floating ball, giving the receiver no time to catch and land his feet, and giving the DB the time to catch up and break it up. So that's really the basis of the rig right there. I got plenty more coming, boys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and sub.